How's everybody doing? Adam McCune here from Goffstown TV, and joining me is Erin Knoetig, who is a Goffstown resident as well as an awesome teacher, technology teacher at Nashua North. How you doing?
I'm doing very well. How are you doing today?
Doing great. I just wanted to kind of chat with you about the awesome thing that you're doing. You can kind of see behind you. If anybody's a nerd like I am, you know those are 3D printers, which is awesome. And I just wanted to kind of talk about what you're doing with those 3D printers.
Absolutely.
So you found an article somewhere about how you can 3D print masks, and of course with the access to 3D printers that you have and no students right now at Nashua North High School, it seemed like it kind of was a good marriage.
Yes, indeed. I was very fortunate to get wind of this opportunity through social media. I have friends out there that they're all over the place, all over the state. People I've worked with previously, people I currently work with, and they were kind of like, hey, there appears to be a massive shortage right now of N95 masks, particularly in the New York City metropolitan area and other parts of the country, and that seems to be creeping up towards this area as well. So with the fact that we're no longer in school per the state's directive, we're now remote learning, and all this equipment is just sitting idle, doing nothing at school. And it just felt like, look, we have the means. We can, do whatever we can to help our first responders, police officers, EMTs, fire department, hospital staff, nurses, you name it. So many people are trying to get their hands on these N95 masks. You just can't get them. You go out to the stores, there's nothing available. You go on Amazon, there's nothing out there. You just can't get it. And everybody's just waiting to get their hands on these things. And they're being told a variety of things to keep recycling their current masks. I was talking to a person down in the New York area, and they told me they were told to use the same mask, and that's going on 2 weeks now. Oof. I'm hearing from nurses that they're, just put it in a Ziploc bag and the airtight seal will help kill the germs. Put a paper mask over it. I've heard so many different stories that people just can't get their hands on these things.
So you have 3D printers there at the high school. How many do you have?
So I was fortunate enough to have access to 4 at my high school at Nashua North. Nashua South has 3D printers as well, but we couldn't get our hands on those because they turned the school into a hospital.
Yeah. It seems like it changes every hour what's going on with this situation for sure. But so I can understand, having access to that is difficult. How long does it take to print one of these?
So the file that I'm using is a second iteration of ones that I've seen on Thingiverse. It's a beautiful thing of people in the 3D printer world. Thingiverse and a variety of other sources are, open source files that people can use and 3D print. And in looking at one of the older versions in the comments section, which is so great about that area, is you learn, hey, guess what? That's as awesome as this mask is. There's a newer version with shorter print times. Less material, which means I can get these out faster. It's a lot more cost effective. If a typical roll is about $24, you're talking about each mask is about $1.25, $1.50 to 3D print. And to answer your original question, it takes approximately just a little over 3 hours per mask.
Okay.
That's at 100% size.
Now, is this something where you were like, we could use those to print these, or where did you find out about the idea of 3D printing these masks?
So being a technology educator, I've been using these 3D printers for a couple of years now. The main reason we got access to them was actually our marine robotics program. Mr. Robert Lancet is the marine robotics instructor, and he came up with the idea of teaching underwater robots. And I said, hey, why don't we show different manufacturing methods? And 3D printers are a great way to kind of quickly produce parts and test them out and see if they work and make prototypes. And so we've had access to them for a number of years now. And like I said before, through social media, I found the idea of making these. And I asked my principal, Nate Burns, and my director of the National Technology Center, Michael McQuilkin, if they don't mind me going into the building and borrowing these. And they were 100% in from the word go.
Wow, that's great. So you said 3 hours or so to print them, and you have a few. How many you make a day?
So I can make 24 and up, depending upon how long I run these things. That's the question. Do I burn these things out? And really, it's I try to give them a little bit of a break each day, several hours at least, and I do typical maintenance per. These are maker bots. They don't require a lot of maintenance. They require a little bit of this certain type of food grade grease that you put on some of the spindles in the back to allow the tray to go up and down, and the gantry to move side to side, forward and back, on different X, Y, and Z axis. But really, it's very minimal.
Cool. So if somebody has a 3D printer at home, they can do this.
That's true. Like I said, I found these files online, and I could show you my screen right here. And you can see a couple of the sources that I've utilized. So let me go ahead and switch over. This is one of the sources that I used. This is actually, I've used two sources. This was the first iteration that people came up with, based up to the best of my knowledge. I actually was more pointed towards this one based on the comment section on Thingiverse. And so this gentleman, Dr. Dusty Richardson, he's been really the pioneer on mass producing these. And he's working with a filtration company, really an HVAC filtration company, to create filters for these masks, because it's just one thing to make the mask, but now you need a filter too, right? So he kind of points you, in the direction of, hey, we have this filtration company. You can buy filters through them, and they have all the files right here, that you need. I leave the settings with what MakerBot recommends and what these files come with. It's really just I was just able to put these on there and hit print. Other people I have found need to play around a little bit with the settings. And I'm certainly open to, any questions in that area. I'm not the guru of 3D printing. I just know how to make things work.
Sure. So who are these masks going to locally? Have you been able to get anybody to donate them to?
So I don't do social media. My wife does. And so I said, wife, Erin, would you mind going out there and just asking in the local area who needs what? And real quickly, actually, one of my biotechnology teachers, Divya Nagri, actually has, her husband works at St. Joe's in Nashua, New Hampshire. And so they're looking into possibly utilizing these. Right now, they're like, hey, we really want to use the N95 mask. That's what we're sticking with. And absolutely, there's, right. That's the way you should go. But I'm just trying to handle or help in any way I can with what happens when you run out. You don't have an N95 mask, which, like I said before, that's happening in the New York area. And so we've been in contact with the NYPD. They seem very much interested in getting their hands on it. We know people in the local area. My sister's a lieutenant down there. We know other people in the Goffstown community that are like, hey, we have friends in the NYPD. They're begging for masks. So we're going to try to help them out this week. We're helping out local, like I said, nurses. I'm surrounded by nurses in my neighborhood. And so we're trying to, like I said, just do whatever we can.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being awesome. And I think it's amazing that you can do this at home, or you can do this at a school for that matter. But I think it's just such a great idea and a great thing that you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you.